Kia ora koutou and welcome to the April President's blog. There's a couple of issues I wanted to talk about this month and just highlight perhaps some stuff that we've done and also a meeting I was able to attend. So the first up is around advocacy, and I'm sure you're all aware by now that earlier in the month we became aware of some proposed changes and restructuring at the Queenstown Lakes District Council. Now, of primary concern to Leanza was both the proposed reduction in professional librarian hours at the Queenstown and Wanaka libraries, but also, and perhaps more importantly, is the removal of professional librarian input at a senior strategic planning level within the council. So we did a few things in response to this proposal, and one thing we need to point out is that this is still a staff consultation process. So while the document was leaked to the media, this is not a public consultation process at this point. However, we did take the opportunity to write to the CEO of Queenstown Lakes District Council, expressing our concerns about what had been reported. We also responded to direct questions from the Otago Daily Times and then made a general press release. I think while it's still really hard times ahead for Queenstown Lakes District Council, one of the encouraging things to see was the level of public support for the library and the librarians. So there have been street marches, there have been public speeches, there's an online Facebook petition which has really got people fired up and coming out to back for their librarians and for their libraries. So while it is still hard times, it's a wonderful thing to see the public that actually really support and understand what their libraries do in their communities. So our thoughts obviously are with the Queenstown Lakes District librarians, and we watch this space with interest. The second thing I wanted to talk about was a meeting I managed to get to last week, which was the HealthSync Study Day, and it was held in Auckland. So first up, a big thanks to HealthSync for inviting me to come and be a part of that event with you. I always love, this is one of the good things about the President's role, is being able to get out and about and meet people and let you talk to me about Leanza and me talk to you about Leanza, but also just to hear about what goes on in parts of the library world that I'm not directly involved in. So I always learn a lot about what health librarians do at these things. I was lucky enough to hear the first two speakers on day two, and one of these I just wanted to point out what it was I got from his presentation, and this was Dr. Rhys Jones. Now, he was talking about the importance of educating New Zealand's health professionals in cultural competency as a way of addressing a gap between Māori and non-Māori when it comes to health outcomes in New Zealand. And obviously this is of major concern, and what struck me was the similarities between the health profession and library and information professionals, because I think we need to reach a level of cultural competency in our library services as well if we are to address that information literacy gap between Māori and non-Māori within New Zealand. So I felt there were quite a lot of parallels between the two that really came out for me in Dr. Jones's talk. So I look forward to seeing those slides go up on the website so I can just revisit some of that. Other than that, I think we've had a busy month. We've had a council meeting, and we're having our a cross-sector forum is this week in Wellington. So it's lots to get on with.